Hello everyone and welcome to Which BBQ, the home of outdoor cooking, where we bring you authentic barbecue and outdoor oven reviews, show you how to cook some trendy and delicious food, but most of all, give you all the ingredients you need to make your outdoor cooking experience a positive one. Now, time for you to sit back and chill and we'll fire up the grill. Today, we're introducing you to the Landmann E-Pantera electric barbecue. Now, I know what some of you purists are thinking out there. An electric barbecue? Well, let's see what it's got to offer. There's an electrical element underneath, but what really gives you a real barbecue experience is the cast iron grills on the top. So they provide you with a nice cooking experience. There's a lot to like about this electric barbecue, and there's an opportunity for a small enclosed space like a balcony or something like that, or areas where you can't use an open flame. This could be a good solution. There's also some removable side shelves to make it easy for storage, and it's got a nice temperature control just in here that gives you an idea of how hot it is. It's nice and clean as well. You haven't got to carry fuel around, and if you've got an electric hookup when you're caravanning or something like that, you could plug it in, and after around 15 to 20 minutes when it's nice and hot, you'd be good to go. The real test is in the cooking. So which barbecue style will get stuck in and show you what this grill's really made of. So we'll bring to you today a beautiful way to cook romantic tapas for 2 to 3 people on the E-Pantera Landmann electric barbecue. Now, as you'll see, I've got the lid closed at the moment, and this is really important, I've found, on this barbecue. It loses heat quite quickly when the lid is opened. So it's important in between putting things on or when you're leaving it unattended, heat it up for a good 20 minutes, otherwise you're not going to get it up to optimum range. And also be prepared to allow a little bit more time than a traditional barbecue to cook your food. Let's take you through what we're going to cook today. We've got some beautiful honey glazed chorizos. We're going to cook a beautiful sourdough bruschetta with a nice tomato, garlic and basil topping. We're going to do a traditional prawns pil with a slight Which BBQ twist. And then we're going to do some Cajun and mint marinated halloumi. It has a beautiful flavour when cooked on these types of barbecues. We've also got cooking already some beautiful little mini sweet peppers. Now we've put these on ahead of time because what we've found is the barbecue takes a while to heat, and we want to get these peppers cooking nice and early so we can start preparing the rest. And what we've done with the peppers is we've just tossed them in a little bit of good quality olive oil, and we're going to season them with a little touch of smoked salt. Now you can use standard salt or anything like that, but we wanted to go for that smokiness because we've not got the charcoal flavour coming through on this type of grill. We're going to add that in ourselves, and I'm going to add a couple more of these peppers to the grill. We'll keep these sizzling away before we go on to the next thing. Now, although you don't have a traditional side plate or a burner on these, there is just about enough room to stick a little pan just on the corner so you can have that heating up and sizzling away. Because later on, when we're ready to bring this all together, we're going to cook some fantastic prawns pil. And we don't want them to slip through the grill and the cast iron griddle, so we're going to do that in the pan. But it allows us to do everything together. Onto the chorizos. With chorizo, there's lots of different varieties. You can get spicy, you can get one that's a little bit more mild. Some of them have had a longer cure, some of them are a bit drier and more moist. But with barbecue cooking, I find a cooking chorizo is absolutely perfect. It's nice and squidgy, it's nice and moist, and it's going to allow you a bit of room for error for when you're putting it onto the grill. All I've done with these is giving them a little coating in honey and a little touch of rapeseed oil. Everyone has their own preference when it comes to oil. I don't like using extra virgin olive oil too much because it tends to be a bit of a strong flavour, and rapeseed is a little bit more universal and it allows you that mild flavour so it doesn't overpower your other flavours. Now, you'll probably tell from where I'm cooking here, I've got this grill on max. And you're not getting that traditional sizzle that you get. And everyone loves that smoke and that excitement of the barbecue. You've got to be prepared that you're not going to get that with the E-Pantera, but it is functional but it doesn't necessarily give you that all-round experience and feel of barbecuing. So we've got that pan a little bit warmer. We're just going to move that off slightly, and we're going to close this down again for a sec before we go on to the next item, because as we'll see on the temperature gauge now, it has dropped right down to green, which is low. So there is a serious heat loss there. But it doesn't matter, it's not the end of the world. It just means that you've got to close the lid down, prepare your next item, and just don't be in a rush to eat your dinner. You need to allow enough time. So now we've had the lid down for a while, what we've found is all of this smoke is hitting the drip plate underneath, and it's lifting up all of that moisture. It's actually generating a really nice barbecue flavour, and it's retaining the heat a lot better. So it's definitely a good idea to keep the lid down. So we've got our sweet peppers charring away, and they've actually generated a really beautiful colour, which, you know, has pleasantly surprised me for an electric barbecue. So we're getting this pan as hot as we can, but because of what I just explained in regard to keeping down the lid, it'll be interesting to see if it can hold enough heat to cook these through properly. So we're just going to put a little splash of rapeseed oil in the pan. We're going to get that as hot as we can. That's almost there, it's not quite warm enough. So what we've got some garlic, we've got some chilli, we've got some lovely king prawns, but you can use any type of prawns really. Better for shell off for this type of thing. If you're going to cook with the shell on, it's advisable to cook straight onto the bars. But for this style, we want to add a little bit of butter at the end to really make these rich. So we're going to do it in the pan. In with that, we've got some garlic, just sliced garlic. Then we've got some sliced fresh chilli. Traditional prawn pil recipes got chili flakes in it, but I quite like the texture and flavour of fresh chilli. And we're going to cook that down. I'm going to season it up here with just a little bit of salt and pepper. So while we're waiting for those prawns, we're going to go on to the sourdough bruschetta. These have just been lightly coated with an olive oil or a rapeseed oil, a touch of sea salt, and we're just going to char those up before we add a topping that we've pre-made. It's really easy to do. So it's just some chopped fresh tomato, some finely sliced basil, a little bit of finely grated garlic, and a touch of salt and pepper, all mixed with a little bit of olive oil. We're going to take these chorizos off. They've had just enough time now. You've got to be careful with the chorizos because of the honey on the outside. You don't want them to burn too much. I mean, we want the charred flavour, but we don't want to burn them. We're going to slice those open, just on the angle, but you can slice them up however you like, really. And they're lovely and moist inside. There's a wonderful smell coming from these. And that sweetness from the honey is just really adding extra to it. And we're gonna do a drizzle more on top because we like that full flavour. With the prawns, they're finally starting to get a little bit pinker. Now it's time to add a little bit of butter. And that's going to add a richness and almost give us a little bit of a sauce to dip in, or any leftover bruschetta, into those wonderful chili and garlic flavours in the bottom. And as you can see, there's a little bit of steam coming up from there now. It's just hot enough really to cook this, but persevere with it and it will definitely be worth it. So what we've done is we've just closed down the lid, we've taken off our peppers as well, and we're just trying to get a bit more heat so we can get more of a charred flavour on the sourdough and allow that extra heat for our prawns. We're getting a nice sizzle on these prawns now, so we're just going to add a squeeze of lemon juice and some freshly chopped parsley. Even though they've taken us slightly longer, the end result looks quite delicious. We can turn over our sourdough pieces. I've got some nice char marks on them now. Now, this doesn't have to be done while it's on here. If you're like me and you prefer it to be slightly warmer, this is just a slightly different way of doing traditional bruschetta. Our prawns are just about done and they're smelling amazing. All that chili and garlic is really coming through with that butteriness. So we're just going to pull that off, but just be careful with these side tables. I think they're heat resistant to a point, but a hot trail pan might be too much. We're just going to pop this lid back down. We've got some amazing salty halloumi that's been marinated in Cajun and mint, which we're just going to char on the top of this. And then we're going to bring all of this lush tapas together. Let's get this halloumi cooking. Oh, we've got that wonderful sizzle again, which I was missing earlier. And now it's up to heat. It feels like we're really barbecuing. You can't beat the sound of a sizzle. I just need someone to pass me a beer now and I'll be away. You can't beat that squeakiness and saltiness that you get from halloumi. And I just like to add a little marinade just to mix it up a little bit. They've already started to get the bar marks on them. With the halloumi, it's going to want around 2 minutes on each side. But make sure you keep the lid closed in between. It smells absolutely lovely. You've got that Cajun barbecue smell. So now it's time to bring our tapas feast together. We've got our lovely charred sweet mini peppers. And we've got our prawns pil. All that chili and garlic flavour coming through. The lemon juice, the fresh parsley and the butter. We've got our bruschettas with that fresh tomato, basil and that garlic flavour coming through. And we've got our honey glazed chorizos. I can't wait to try one of these. And this charred halloumi is ready now. It's looking amazing. We're just going to add that in there. Which barbecue, romantic tapas feast. We've got beautiful prawns pil, Cajun and mint marinated charred halloumi. We've got bruschetta, honey glazed chorizos and the sweet charred peppers. All of that created from a Landmann E-Pantera electric. Well, there's definitely a first for me cooking on an electric barbecue. But we've managed to create a romantic tapas feast. It takes some getting used to be honest. Regulating heat temperature and the amount of time it took to actually be ready to cook can be slightly confusing. However, if you allow enough time for these cast iron griddle plates to get hot, it will give you close to a traditional barbecue cooking experience. Just remember, keep the lid down for as long as you can in between usage. And all that smoke and all of that fat will drip down onto the tray underneath and help create all of those barbecue style flavours. Now, in summary, this is a great little portable barbecue. It's ideal for somebody that hasn't got a lot of space, maybe a balcony or a small patio area garden, or maybe if you were caravanning and you had an electric hookup, you could use it as well. Now, if you want to create a family style barbecue, burgers, sausages and maybe chicken kebabs, then this will do the job. But it's also shown today that it can produce something that's different, something that's outside of the box. If you want to really test your barbecue skills, the Pantera can stand up to that. Thanks for watching the Which Barbecue review of the Landmann E-Pantera electric barbecue. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you fancy testing out your own barbecue skills, head over to whichbarbecue.co.uk where you can download our fantastic recipes and how-to guides.